Welcome to the conversation. Now, where I last left off was giving my interpretation of what I'm seeing across different timelines for different reasons. Now, this is a part of my spiritual career because now everyone is in observation and in awe of the things that are taking place in their own environments and their neighbors and co-workers and all of this stuff. Now, what I'm on now specifically is ONJs, the experiences with ONJs. Some of you are now understanding that ONJs is what to call the individual that you reside with, that's a family member, that's a coworker, and such and such. How the paradigm shift ascension matters in this is because a certain group of individuals were asked to disassociate themselves, particularly angels, because of what was coming in. Now, about 6 years ago, maybe I say about 4 years ago, I informed some of my viewers that they would have to separate from their loved ones. At that time, I did not realize the reason why the separation was needed, and it is because of what is taking place now. Now, these are things that have flew under the radar, okay? Experiences with ONJs, and there's but not as crucial as an ONJ. Now, what I want to address, and please share the live, okay? Because more and more is being influenced by the ONJ experience. And it is because this is the phase out of a contract for certain generations, okay? And for certain lines, hemoglobin lines, okay? So what this means is there's key moments. All right. And those of you that are older, that have raised children, been in relationships, okay, you understand that there's key moments that take place in the family dynamic. Okay. What I know as of right now, the information that I know for these themselves or whatever, somebody's an ONJ and they say, okay, well, I'm an ONJ because I know I don't remember certain things. I remember them inaccurately. I don't remember timelines. I don't remember people that say they grew up with me, they went to school with me, or I remember people that went to school with someone else, and I'm currently taking on the role of that person, and it is because that person is an entity. A lot of times, NSVJs and ONJs are close in the dynamic when it comes down to do with entities and spirits. And it is because an NSVJ will act out other people's situations. They'll remember other people's stories to their own detriment. Something, for instance, something could take place in someone else's family that they know about, and a lot of times they'll go to sleep, they'll wake up, and then all of a sudden they're living that person's, especially if that person is no more, meaning they're not living. So there's a fraction of angels, okay, that have dealt with people uh, that were unalive, like frequent, like they're younger. These are between the ages of 23 and 32. Most of all of their friends are, that they grew up with or that they ran across, they work with, for whatever reason, they're not living. Okay, they're a fraction of demons. Okay, so we didn't already went through, for those that are jarred by the European or something like that. It's not what the movies make it out to be. Now, there is Daman and Damian. Is three. Is three. Okay, so if you grew up in Catholicism, you know that that is accurate. There's three types. There's different branches within those three. Okay, the reason why it's important is ONJs, a certain group of ONJs out of certain eras and generations have been reincarnated, incarnated, and reborn. So that means they know that they are entities. They know that they have a contract with a body. Okay. And how it plays a role, with certain individuals is these hedges. Now, remember when I told all of these people on alive that there's a certain group of hedges that wanted certain people to be together. So that means they did a prophecy and they said, this person is going to create a child with this person. And voila, they end up meeting. Okay, so this is the distorted era. This is why I said this is an original problem. Like, the greats, the ones that we know as Satan, Lucifer, Baal, Beelzebub, Heru, all of this is something that occurred when they left. And because they left and went somewhere else, a group of hedges. There is no living hedge like living in a body now. Okay, they don't walk amongst the earth. These are entities. So when they decided that they were going to create twin flame unions, these were entities. These were not living bodies. Even if they did go into a certain reader or a certain person and say, I want you to put out this message, this twin flame union, because it came from somewhere. Y'all know that. My era, we know soulmates. And when I said that all twin flame unions were created by spells, it was it it would, and this is why I say for elect ones, all twin flame unions are karmic in nature, and it is because someone wanted to insert themselves into a line of royal and royalty, and this is how it happened. Now, when they reigned, okay, during the time of JUD GESs and thrones, and if you look on the angel hierarchy, you see that they're on an angel hierarchy, and it's because they wanted individuals to believe that they were things that they weren't, because these are energies that could speak to individuals in their mind. These is ones with kinetic abilities, telepathic abilities. Okay, so that means, again, we already know that telepathy is real and that there are certain people that walk the earth that had telekinesis. They can move bodies, move objects, and things of that sort. We know that that is a thing because it's a definition for it. Okay, so I'm putting a name, a face to a name, face to a name. Okay, so these hedges came in and they decided that certain people were going to procreate. Now, this has everything to do with the original beings. If you have an original universe parent, that means you are a descendant of greatness, royalty, and those are the ones that are in history. Even Jesus, Heru, Mary Magdalene, all of them have actual descendants. Okay, so when you say things like you're the daughter of such and such, and they know that you're not the daughter because you're not in their line, there are individuals that actually speak to entities, spirits passed over, and some have been honored in history. They're famous for telling individuals what happened to them at a certain time. Now, this is not something a concept that I'm bringing to this platform. This is something that has already been introduced decades, eons ago. Okay, so now y'all are up to date on that. Now, I'm telling you these hedges because at a certain point, that's all there was. Hedges, witch, sorceress, high priestess, high priest, prophetess, magicians, WAR locks, wizards, all of these individuals, fairies, elves, all of this stuff existed in bodies, people. And because they are beings, they exist. So when you ascend high enough, some that are descendants of greatness, because that's what we're going to call it, are able to pick that up. Now, the illegitimate, it's things that you all have to understand. As black and white. That means your parents wasn't married when you were brought into the world. But that's not it in its entirety. Illegitimacy could also be that you were created outside of a divine union. Whether or not if you were married to that person. This is a variable. This is a spiritual variable because they say contracts, paper contracts, they are in agreement that these are contracts that are man-made. That means you chose your spouse. The God did not choose your spouse. So when the preacher and the pastor say a man to find a good thing and when he found a wife, that means that was something that he chose for himself. When you start when you enough, once ascension is all about you clearing karmic debt. So that means you're windmilling, you're battling all kind of stuff to get it off of your line for the future. And because all of us that are beings are reincarnated, incarnated, reborn, rebirthed, and all of that stuff with people that we once knew in a past life. That we're just going to put that on, even the person that drives on the side of you on the highway every day while you commute to work. You didn't encounter that person sometime in the past. So these hedges came together and they said, look, we want to be a part of this royal line. And to do that, we have to be wed. Or to do that, we have to create a child that is a host. And here we have O and J's. Now you're going to say, I did not sign up for my child to become this. No, you did not. And therein is the problem of hedges. Certain ones. Because there's also hedges that are restoring what was broken spiritually, energetically. And it takes time. So now you understand when you see individuals acting weird and out their body and that it's a spiritual thing. Because now it's becoming more and more common to be okay with somebody just losing it if they have money. You can see someone falling completely, but as long as they have money, it's okay. That's the problem. Now, I came on to say 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 15 for some, 23, 42, and then we go to the elders. These are ones that have had energies in and out of their body, certain ones with certain contracts throughout their whole life. Their whole life. You'll know because for the ones that departed like they were told, that means they separated themselves from family for a duration, and some are still separated because of what took place. You didn't know what was coming in that body. You didn't know. And this is the reason why the weed from the exactly. This is the reason why God said you need to be over here because you don't know what's going to come in the middle of the night. You don't know what has been grooming your child since the age of 9. They're sitting back saying they got imaginary friends and they're talking and this and that and laughing, and you don't know that they're communicating with something. They're just being yeah, exactly. We know that children and babies are the most connected to the spiritual realm. This is something that you are, when they sit back and they smile in their cribs and bassinets and stuff, and you're saying, why is my baby smiling in sleep? Because that baby is communicating with something, hopefully God. So now you understand that even at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12 is something else. 23, 42, and then we got the elderly. Because by the time they reach the elderly status, and they have not ascended, that means they are an open host. That means whatever comes in and out. And if you don't have someone that you're acquainted with, and usually elderly people don't, and that have been knowing them their whole entire life, you won't know that that is something else inside that body. That's just how it works. It's a spiritual ramification. This is why when I said So readers don't need to touch the elect one topic because you don't know. And when you start, saying, I want to become a powerful channeler and stuff like that, and you don't know what it means to the beings that you are connecting to. When I told someone, look, a medium means that you play monkey in the middle. That means they're going to use you. It's not like what you see in the movies, that they're so revered, and it's traumatizing. Now, what angels have is something different. There's a group of angels that will come in the body, and for good reason, because if you have an experience with an ONJ, okay, like some people have, you gonna want something to help you. This is for sure. It goes into that whole era where you had exorcisms. And y'all see in the movies, I mean, some of the stuff is accurate, but it's not, because when a diocese or the apostle go in there and he starts saying, "What is your name?" Naming all of these, and they start to abuse about this, and they go into a rant like that. When the first person seen that, they weren't aware that those were the ones that were exercising something out. They just heard all of these names. So it takes something otherworldly, something mystical to deal with something spiritual. You're not finna go in there and say, "Hey, let me tell you something. That clergy member that go in there, he for sure prayed up. He gonna put on that white collar and go up in there that's not happening no Christian church." No, it's not. That pastor gonna look at you and say, "You got to deal with this by yourself," you know, because they're not known for doing stuff like that. That is Catholicism that is known for that, and it's for a good reason. Now, y'all say, "Well, you saying that they need an exorcism or this and that?" Let me tell you now. You go up in one of them establishments now, you might get something worse. Especially if you're an ascended being, because they already know you ascended. They sit and they have conversations in their mind. They talk to you when you sleep. Hey, look, if you ever wake up and you talking and you're not an angel, hey, you need to reach out to me at oracle@gmail.com, because I can send the team for you, because this stuff is real. I didn't experience it because I'm an angel. I didn't been borderline in the dream world and borderline awake and talking to the angels, and they like, "You was sleeping." I'm like, "No, I wasn't. I'm talking. I'm moving. I was not asleep." You know what I'm saying? And they like, "She don't know." What I know to be true is these demon and these demon and some of these demons that they felt like they could send towards me don't want no parts of me, and it's because I'm a cherub. They don't want no. They cannot overtake cherubs. This is the whole purpose of God creating cherubs. This is why Satan, Lucifer, all of them are like they are about cherubs, because they were the intercessors. That meant when God created cherubs, they were the ones that came to restore everything. And they not playing. When y'all sat up there and said, "I'm calling this, that," and you got these demonology books, and you don't know that that's not a demon, but you feel like you're gonna be able to control, command, or whatever. Hey, the good book said he give you dominion over earth, not spirit. That means you are responsible for the things that you see, not what you don't see. So if you feel like you gonna sit back and say, "I'm about to be Satan and I command a demon to do my bidding," you're gonna be looking stupid. Because first you gotta allow them in. That part is true. Because let me tell you something about the elect ones. They don't want to come in. They don't want nothing to do with you, because they already know who you are. There was an era where it was nothing but mayhem and chaos. This is for sure. It's documented, but you won't know it. It's documented briefly because there are people that come in and they get channelings, real channelings, and they document it. And then someone else comes along and revises it and sensationalize it. And you don't know the truth from the untruth. How about let's not revise nothing that is considered holy? If it has a holy on it, that means it don't need revision. If you don't understand it, that means it's not for you. That means your prophecy is not yet dated. That means it's still coming. When I said my era is the era of the Torah and not the kind that the Muslims use. Y'all didn't get it. That's that little section right there, that came up out of the bigger, not the New King James, but the original one, the one that people don't want to. No, we under a new one, because this one here means we damned. If we can, no, make it make sense. So the group that had all of these variables, okay, all of these spiritual LAWSs, okay, commandments and stuff like that is not us. And for some, it's not even your grandparents because they're too young. We're talking about great. You don't even know that many greats. That's how old that doctrine is. And so with a new paradigm, you get new information. Some of you don't even realize that you're not up under that contract. And to say that you are is condemning yourself. Then you wondering why you talking and you're not an angel and you sound like a man. You better hope it's one of the elect ones, which is the underworld, because that means they taking something off of you. Now, I just came on to say a few things. The most important part about this live is the ages, where you start noticing things. That means they fall asleep and wake up and something already in there. You're going to say, even at that age, yes, because these are reincarnates and incarnates. They are beings. That means they've been before. This is very important. Now, I have conversations about the future because he got a stronghold on me, the big G, okay? And so I'm backed up in the corner. So if I don't do this type of work, then what I'm gonna do? I don't know, because he'll have me in a chokehold. I got a resume, but that don't mean I'm able to use it. Y'all got to understand. And that's the thing about true spiritualists. Even if they decide, look, hey, the math is not math in here, I need to live or whatever, he gonna make a way. Now, it's not gonna be peachy cream. That way is not gonna be peachy cream, but it's for sure gonna be a way. Now, the way I feel about it is, when something still exists, there's no grieving. That's a major blow. Yes, you can give birth to a child. You and your significant other, you and your baby daddy, baby mama could give birth to a child, and that child being leaves that body and something else come in. You're gonna see that body, regardless if it has 26 entities coming in and out throughout his whole life, as the same person. That's the point. Now, the reading that I'm about to release is touching on just a minute fraction of individuals that are being affected by ONJs, influenced some kind of way. This reading is a mixture of those that don't know they ONJs, those that believe that they are ONJs, and those that know for a fact that they are. This is how it's going to be going forward, because this is how it's always been. You're just walking blind. You didn't know. We know that psychic. We know that the word psychic is there. It's a definition. We know about the clairs. A lot of us know about clairs. These are spiritual gifts. The ones that have it is not that truly have it is gonna say it's not a gift. They gonna say it because it don't feel like one. They gonna say it because a lot of times you don't get paid for it. Okay, it don't make you happy. Okay, the duality to a gift. You can get something that is paid for, get it, and it still don't make you happy, or make you happy for a little while, a break or whatever, and then you don't see any good in it. My thing is, people need to know, because this is a part of my walk. This is a part of my legacy, to give you this information, to give it to you as I see as accurate. We have to take into account timelines. When we talk about reincarnation and incarnation, one variable to that is if you were incarnated somewhere else, what's true here may not be true there. That's a variable. So when we start talking about past lives, I have a spread, past life, present karma. I won't call it a spread. I have a reading that I offer, past life, present karma. Now, if you have a lot of stuff on you, okay, one ain't gonna do it. And I know this for a fact because I've been doing them for a while. That means once all the stuff get cleared off of you, the entities, the spirits, the false relationships, the grief from a past life, the karma, the this and that, then you're gonna start touching bases with what happened to you in a past life. I know because I do them, and I've been doing them long enough to know that it's a process. Now, because I know that I have ran into ONJs my whole entire life, not knowing that they were ONJs, because this is a new concept. So the person, the individuals that is supposed to document it is not going to sensationalize it. One being is because they either won themselves and they have a new contract with the big G, which is God, God Himself, the Most High, Universal Life Force Source, by whatever name you want to call him or her. Listen, just like NSVJ was documented, just like soulmates was documented, just like twin flames was documented, it had to be a point where something new came in. So we should all be in agreement that with different paradigm shifts, new information come in. Now, let me tell you where there is a butterfly effect happening. I can say that something happened um, during a paradigm shift, whether or not if it was a group, whether or not if it was an ascension attached to that paradigm shift. One being the collapsing of a bridge. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows, and I'm saying that when that happened, that was a paradigm shift. It wasn't an ascension in there. It's not a metaphor, but it's definitely a quaking. Now, listen. The point is, most people will say, "Well, which one?" Because it's been several, and this is where the ONJ experience comes in, because some won't even remember it. And this is how you know that that is a new being, because that was major. Most of the people that I intuit, that I've came across, already know that there was a major bridge collapse here in California. They know that for a fact. Now, if you said you remember what you were doing, because a lot of times you was either at school or at work. And if you don't remember, that means something else was in your body or something else is in their body, because that's a major, the towers as well. There was no paradigm shift associated with that. That was something else. But I'm gonna tell y'all, okay, the ONJ experience means that there's a lot of trauma associated with it, because you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know, should you distance yourself? Because the whole thing, those that were told specifically by the God, by God, that they needed to distance themselves were angels. The ones that did it because they didn't like the way their family or girlfriend, boyfriend was moving or brother or whatever, it just haphazardly happened. But if you happen to become reacquainted with that individual during the time of the paradigm shift ascension, you notice things about that individual that you don't see correct. Now, if you have multiple family members that are ONJs, okay, that's an experience within itself because everybody is acting strange and unusual. You can sit there and you can have a conversation and you be like, you don't remember this? And then you be like, well, I know something happened this way, but they see it another way. When the ones that are bold enough to say, I hear voices talking to me. I know things are talking to me, are the ones that are candidates for change. The ones that sit back and don't say nothing means they have to have something else come in and do it for them. When I said a lot of these ONJs come for one thing and one thing only, even if that disrupts your whole family. They may come in to say, I love somebody. They may come in to feel love. They may come in to give birth. They may come in to be a parent. And that means even if you were with somebody 40 years and that contract, it's time for that contract to be fulfilled, that means 40 years of your life that went down the drain. And that is where it is traumatizing. Because what happened to the individual or individuals that I loved? A lot of y'all have experienced it and just didn't know it because you say, well, they changed. This person just changed overnight. A lot of people are grateful that I come on because no one understands this because it's spiritual. When you say come back worse, they need a bathroom, they get dipped and they worse. You say, what? Then you understand that is not the way you think. Some things don't need to be prayed over. Because you don't know who is praying over that body. You don't know if that person know the being that inhabited that body, one of them. Because if you're a part of a church, then you are in a spiritual practice. Even though it's hidden up under religion, it's still spiritual. When someone comes and says, I'm prophesizing, I'm a prophetess, I'm a prophet, then that means they hear a spiritual word. And it's not something that they doctoring up to make everybody feel good on Sunday. We're in the new paradigm. So that means it has to be new ways to introduce old information and make it make sense to the beings that are truly being affected by it. Because what other reason would you be in a religious practice or a spiritual practice? Because they coincide. When someone says, my life is going down the drain, I need to go to church, it is because they need to hear a good word, something that'll free their mind. But they go to church and they come back worse? No, there's a lot of the true mothers of the church started leaving when the heathens started coming in. Because before that, it was just individuals like them. The heathens started coming, these legs, no stockings, you know, and they, they say they party on Saturday and they in church on Sunday. But we talking about the ones that don't want to go to church right now. Because at least them ones, they know they living wrong. They try. I mean, the one with the greased legs, they gonna go in, the pastor gonna wink and say, you know, I need to pray for you. And at 8, 9 o'clock, they gonna start striking conversations, and she gonna become one of the preacher's wives. What? 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 Y'all know that it was a timeline where it was all kind of people of all nationalities, all economic levels, all races and creeds was coming out saying the church ain't right. This is what the church did to me. So we not going we're not gonna close our eyes to that fact. So where did we go? Because the Big G say, I am tired. I done sent this one, that one, this one, and every time I send someone, y'all say, nope, that's not the face I want. That's not that life is not the life that should be telling me what to do because they don't got no money. They ain't got no money because of what came before them. This is how all these circles were created that most can't get into. And if you get into, you got to disrespect yourself to be in it. Come on now, y'all know what I'm talking about. To stay in this circle, somebody got to be the court gesture. You know what I'm saying? They not gonna do it. It's for entertainment purposes only. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're not truly gonna be one of them because they already know who you is, spiritually and otherwise. You know, a real closing of a distorted era was the transition out of Cadillac Records. Y'all remember Cadillac Records? You're gonna say that's before your time. Yeah. The ones that are that's we I'm talking about my grandparents' era there. That's the juke joint. The juke joint goers. You know? You know what I'm saying? Because before then the juke joint, they wasn't welcome in the church. Because they was heathens. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a recreation. Either you telling the truth, right? Because the juke joint goers, they were shunned from the church. They could sing they tail off, right? Sing better than what's on the podium. But because they were heathens, truly heathens, because that was their class, they were not accepted. Now we're gonna go some eras on up to mine. Remember, I'm close to 50. And we're gonna say, well, they tried to come back in. That's what happened. And y'all did the same thing. They was incarnated, and they tried to come back in, and they did the same thing. Now these ones say, I'm going to church. I don't care if I'm wearing a mini skirt and no panties. I'm about to show his wife that he liked this young stuff here. Because that's what happens. There's no place that's sacred. Let me tell you, not right now, because we are shifting into a new paradigm. So that means somebody gonna benefit off of all our hard energy. That means even if you don't feel like you're spirituous, even if you don't feel like you're religious, even if you don't care if someone is breathing, you don't care about if they eating, you don't care, it's gonna influence you some kind of way. Because you can't feel like you're just gonna go through unscathed, because there's a group that know that the way it was supposed to be was you have children, you take care of your children, whether or not if you married or not, once you get old, your children take care of you. Who gonna take care of you and your elder? It's a lot of variables to why that's not happening now. What if your child needs that type of assistance going into your elderly age? Y'all both need assistance. What if all the programs are shut down? What if the house ain't completely paid for? Some people gonna say that's why I'm not a member. That's why I'm not getting, because I gotta save my money. Cut it. Because the Big G has a way of fulfilling a prophecy. Because the prophecy for those that ain't doing what he said they need to do is going to be fulfilled too. He said if one more angel fall in the street, he was going to take everything. And he meant it. because he is tired of sending his anointed and those that believe that they are anointed, shunning them. There was a fright, y'all. Yeah, it was so many people saying we're being out